Okay, let me share an idea that we learned in this week's parasha. We learn about the idea of vidui. Vidui meaning confession. You know, as we know that in Judaism itself, we find in many places the idea of confessing someone's sins. And there's a mitzvah of when a person feels that he has done something wrong, that when he would come to the temple, or even nowadays, is the whole idea of Teshuva. The Rambam himself brings three different elements in regards to a person's process of doing tshuva. So the Rambam says as follows, and the whole idea of Teshuva, taking away from, the idea of people think that Teshuva means to, grow a beard, putting on your tzitzit, and putting all the whole idea of Teshuva is a sense of regret. Someone feels that he has done something wrong, is to turn to his creator and to speak to him and to tell him, God, I've done something wrong. This is what I've done. So there's a whole idea of regret and kind of taking a resolution not to repeat what we have done in the past, and at the same time expressing it. So the whole idea of confession is not because regret and resolution for the future is something that is given to one's heart. Confession is something that is expressed verbally. And when we look at the Rambam himself, when he elaborates the whole idea, as we know that the Rambam, one of his book was written of 613 mitzvot. And amongst the 613 mitzvot, if I'm not mistaken, the 70th one speaks about this idea of confession, of the mitzvah of confessing what one has done in the past. But the question is, why is the only element, because it seems that confession is just a small detail or an element in the Teshuvah process. It seems that Teshuvah itself, the idea of repenting, will be something more related to the heart. So why is it that the regret and the resolution to not repeat our deeds is not enumerated in the 613 mitzvot, and the only thing that is brought down as the mitzvah is the actual confession? So there are many answers that are given. I would like to present in front of you two answers. One of them which has two different separate parts to it. But the first one is that in the Torah itself, there's no mitzvah of teshuvah. There is a mitzvah or requirement of confessing and expressing what one has done. But something that is given to the heart, there is no mitzvah. The Torah only instructs us that when we do a certain deed and we feel that we have done something wrong, it instructs us how we should do the teshuvah. But there is no direct commandment on doing teshuvah. But if we look at it in a much deeper way, it makes a lot of sense. How can the Torah itself, and this is something that Torah is kind of puts a limit to its own definition. The Torah itself command on something that is related to our heart. The Torah expects us to feel bad when we do, to have some kind of regret when we do something wrong. But regret is something that is given to man. If it's something that was commanded, how can I command you to regret what you have done? And so the Torah leaves it completely in our own hands, leaves it in our ability to feel regret and to act upon it by confessing. And that's why it's not a commandment. It's not something that is commanded on us, but it's something that is expected from us once we have failed and have felt that we have done something wrong, to regret and to express our regret by confession. Another explanation is that Rambam truly feels that confession itself is part of the same mitzvah of regret. Because if one only confesses without really feeling anything inside, without feeling a real sense of regret, and his confession is kind of superfluous, right? If one really only says the words, but he doesn't feel them, then confession becomes something that is maybe superfluous or has no real value. And therefore, the Rambam views the whole idea of confession of Teshuva as one single whole unit, that when a person confesses, he needs to express his real regret that he feels in his heart. Bochim to you.